So today, we have a very important day. We have what we call British method. And I would like you to label your notes, young chap. Day, month, and then year. Because everyone knows the British do things a little differently. They don't go month, day, year like those crazy Americans.
What if you never put the date on your notes?
Then today's your day to start.
What's the date?
That would explain a lot. He's not very organized.
I dare you to talk like that for the rest of this period.
I can sure try. So today's pretty exciting. Tomorrow we get to do the British method again. And we can have some tea and crumpets. So bring in your coffee cups. Bring in some tea. Any tea. Some people don't like tea, so I will let you drink that hot chocolate stuff. Or if you bring $1, I'll fix up some coffee. Strong coffee. And crumpets could look anything from
Cookies.
biscuits to cookies,
Oh.
but you bring them to share. Okay? It will be the best day of math ever. Now,
Not if I have to share.
this first slide is going to seem a bit overwhelming. But, like I said today, we have 5 steps, and this is actually our fifth way of factoring. So if you could take out your note cards and put British method, 5th step. And once we get these 5 steps down in our notebook, we will go through 5 problems. So thank you for getting these down into your little notepad.
Can you send that video to me too? Can you send the video to me too?
Now, we setting up our 5 steps and writing down our first example. Make sure when you write down your notes, you kind of Stick your nose up in the air a tad bit. Like the British. Because they're so much better. Okay? And we are going to go through these 5 steps. So, first step, we need to get in standard form. Here's a little reminder of what that looks like. Is this in standard form?
Yes.
Check. Second step, we need to multiply A and C. Well, first off, what is our A value? 6. And then B? -1. C? -2. Second step, we need to multiply A times C. A times C is -12. Now, third step is the most fun. Because we need to list the factors of AC whose sum equals -1. So if everyone can circle -1, that is what we want our factors to add up to. And if you forgot what factors are, our first one is always 1 and 12. What's our next factor? 2 and 6. Will that ever add up to -1? No, so we go to our next factor, which is 3 and 4. Is there a way to make this equal -1? How?
-3 plus 4. Oh,
This is very important. Last class thought that you just pick whatever factors you like best. No. We need to make sure that it equals our middle step. Because then step 4 and step 5 are review. Step 4 says we need to rewrite our original, but instead of writing -x, we are going to write 3x minus 4x minus 2. Does everyone see how we replaced our middle term with our 2 factors? Please make sure your middle terms have variables. Some people forget about those. Don't do that. It's like a parent forgetting your child. Not a good thing. It's happened many times before. I'll probably be guilty of it someday, but don't do that. So we did rewrite our terms using our 2 factors for the middle terms. So then we go on to step 5. It says use grouping to factor. Notice we have 4 terms here. This is exactly like Friday. We need to add the inverse. Anytime we have a minus, we draw our 2 sets of parentheses. And then watch this. What can we factor out of this first group set? 3x. Excellent. So we go 3x and we factor out of 3x. We're going to get 2x plus 1. Then we are going to factor out a -2. And when we do that, we factor out a -2. We are going to get 2x plus 1. We are so close to being done. Last step, factor out what is in common with both, giving us 2x plus 1, leaving us with excellent. And that is the first British method you have done. This is Prince. Now, even though I sound a tad ridiculous, we need to know, when do we know to use the British way? I'll be very concise. Anytime that is not a perfect square and we cannot factor out anything from all of them. It's not a perfect trinomial. If it's not a perfect trinomial, we use the British method. So let's go to our next one. And if everyone can write down that. Notice you will not have to write down those 5 steps because they are staying the same. So let's go through this again. A value is? B value is? -2. C value is? -3. someone different. What is our second step?
Multiply A and C.
Which is?
Negative 24.
Excellent. Someone different. What is step 3?
Find factors of AC sub is B.
I would always like you to write down the factors of your AC. So the factors of negative 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12. And what do we want them to add up to?
Negative 2.
Wonderful. 3 and
Negative 4. No, not negative.
8. 4 and
6. That one.
it's very important. Let's put these symbols to the correct ones. Which one should be positive?
4.
6 should be.
Negative.
Now, a little helpful hint. I always like to write the negative first. So when we go to step 4, step 3 is right there. Step 4, we rewrite everything the same, inserting our negative values, making sure our middle terms have x's behind them. Now, if the problem was y squared, we would put what after our middle terms?
Y.
Y. Perfect. And notice we did step 4. Step 5, use grouping the factor. To be able to use grouping to factor, we need to draw.
Parentheses.
What comes out of this one?
2x.
What are we left with? What is the only thing we can take out of this one?
No, not X.
Sometimes we only can take out 1. Then, if we notice, we can divide both of these by 4x minus 3. What is remaining? Now, please make sure there is no plus or minus, because once you factor out, it's going to be multiplied by whatever is left. Does anyone have any questions up to this point? Okay. To change things up a tad, let's go. Let's write down this example. Now, to get A, B, and C, do you see how we would have to reverse that? Some people are going to be confused. Just know that the C value is always the numerical value with no variable. So C in this case is negative 18. Now the value for B is 27 and the A value is 5. Wonderful. I would like to give you a minute to see how far we can get using our wonderful steps. just see that we are getting it. Our next step would be AC. AC, 5 times negative 18 would be negative 90. Wonderful. And then we look at factors of negative 90 that add up to what number? And as hard as that may seem, you're going to find it pretty simply. 1 and 90, 2 goes into it. 45, 3 goes into it. 30. Do we have to keep going?
Oh, no.
So my advice to you, one way that people get confused is you don't go in order. Okay, just start at 1, go all the way through. If 4 doesn't go into it, which it doesn't, you just put a cross through it and you go to the next number. So in which way, using our plus and minus signs, would we get our 27? Wonderful. And then when we would rewrite it, we could go to 5x squared. Do we want the minus or the plus first?
Minus.
Minus 3x plus 27 is wrong. Plus 30x minus 18. What is the next thing we need to do? Parentheses. And what can we take out of this one? X. We are left with 5x minus 3. Now, some of you are ready for this little helpful hint. What are we going to want to have this equal once we factor out everything?
5x minus 6.
We're always going to want these to match up. They always will match up, unless we did something wrong. And then that might help us out because what can we factor out of both of these to make it equal? Does that make sense? We want them to match up because then when they match up, we can take out the quantity of 5x minus 3, put it in front, and what are we left with? And there we go. Another British method to perfection. Kind of fun?
No.
It'll become fun. It'll become fun. The more practice we get. I do like this one because it has 2 variables. Don't let that throw you off your groove. So, or throw it off your rocker. Okay? No?
No.
If you could write down that one, label ABC, and let's get some practice with something that looks a little weird. Kind of like you. No, just kidding. Is this standard form?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
You know it's standard form when we have a term squared and a term squared? Because this is what we would call our what? Middle term. So our A value is what?
17.
3.
Oh, no.
B value is?
Why? Never mind.
B value is 13. C value is 14. Second step is always to,
3 times 2.
which is?
39. Oh, okay. Yep.
Second step is we want to choose factors of 42 that add up to what number?
13.
6, 7.
The more practice we get, the more you'll just say 6xy plus 7xy. 6 times 7, 42. Then we could rewrite our original 3x squared plus 6xy plus 7xy plus 14y squared. Now, some of you are going to be wondering, what happens if I switch those around? Perfect. I'll show you over here that you will get the same answer. Our next step of both of these is to draw Draw what?
Parentheses.
What can we factor out of this one?
3x.
Leaving us with plus 2y. What can we factor out of here? What are we left with? We always want these to match up, which they do. Then our final answer is going to be x plus 2y. And we are left over with 3x plus. There's our final answer. Now, if we take a look at here, what is the only thing we can factor out? X, leaving us with 3x plus 7y, correct? What can we factor out of this one?
2y.
2y, leaving us with 3x plus.
7y.
Do you notice that we're going to get the same answer? It's the best thing about the British way. Same answer. Now, a couple of yours today might try to trick you. What would we have to move to get it into standard form?
6,
How would we do that?
Subtract.
We would subtract, we would subtract, and then we would have a jolly old time doing our next steps. We are going to spend 2 days on this, and if we work all the way to the bell, I do want you to know one of these is going to be a prime answer, meaning your AC factors won't give you a middle term. Would you agree that AC would be 42 here?
Yes.
Factors of 42, 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, 4 and nothing, 5 and nothing, 6, 7, 8 nothing, 9 nothing, 10 nothing, 11 nothing. We're done. Because once you start overlapping, you're done. And is this going to give us a negative 10?
No.
Is this going to give us a negative 10?
No.
Is this going to give us a negative 10? Therefore, we would say prime. Can't factor. So today's problems, they are your practice problems, page 222, 15 to 35. And today, if we work all the way to the end of the bell, we will do 15 to 31 odds. Please show your work just like we did in class. You have a few minutes to start. So page 222, under the practice problems, 15 to 31 odds. Wonderful.